Ben Affleck's 2016 movie The Accountant is currently trending on Netflix despite not receiving the greatest reviews. The action crime conspiracy thriller stars the Academy Award-winning writer, director, Good Will Hunting, Argo, as Christian Wolf, a highly intelligent freelance accountant who also happens to be a math genius. Based on the premise alone, The Accountant appears to be a compelling and unique take on the action thriller genre. However, by the end of The Accountant, critics were largely divided about the overall impact and quality of the Gavin O'Connor, Warrior, The Way Back film. The Accountant features an all-star cast led by Affleck, Oscar nominee Anna Kendrick, Up in the Air, Emmy nominee Jon Bernthal, The Bear, and Oscar winner J.K. Simmons, Whiplash. With The Accountant 2 confirmed to be directed by O'Connor and written by original screenwriter Bill Dubuque, creator of Ozark, The Accountant is a must-watch for people excited about the sequel's potential. The Accountant 2 began filming in March 2024 and is expected to be released sometime in 2025. Bernthal, Simmons, and Cynthia Addai-Robinson, the Rings of Power, are all confirmed to reprise their roles in The Accountant sequel. The Accountant has a 52% score from critics on Rotten Tomatoes. The movie's Rotten Tomatoes audience score is 76%. The Accountant has received much more praise from audiences than it did from film critics upon its initial release. The action film earned a 76% audience score on Rotten Tomatoes while receiving just a 52% critical score upon its initial release. By comparison, The Accountant received nearly identical feedback on IMDb, with a user-generated IMDb rating of 7.3 and a Metascore of only 51 out of 100. Many viewers applauded the film for combining some of the genius elements from Affleck's Oscar-winning film Good Will Hunting and combining it with a bona fide action concept such as John Wick or Kingsman. Critics of The Accountant, on the other hand, are mostly conflicted about the convoluted plot despite a great performance from Affleck. Audiences generally are not as concerned about the messy narrative as critics are and celebrate the original and intellectual concept of The Accountant, which is also paired effectively with heavy doses of intense thrills and action. The star of the production is undoubtedly Affleck, whose performance proves how capable he is as the lead protagonist, even in a complex and nuanced character. The Accountant, however, did draw some controversy around Affleck's portrayal of a man with autism. The Accountant's reviews criticize its autism portrayal and thriller plot, but praise Ben Affleck's performance. Ben Affleck shines in the main role despite a convoluted plot. Both critics and audiences mostly agree that Affleck delivers one of the best performances of his career in The Accountant, which likely has a lot to do with the modern interest surrounding a sequel to The Accountant some 8 years after the original's release. Critic Donald Clark of Irish Times said of The Accountant, "The dubious composition of Affleck's character leaves a foul taste in the mouth." Kenneth Turan of the Los Angeles Times said The Accountant is so entertaining it's hard not to wonder if Warner Brothers has a sequel in the works. Wouldn't be a bad idea. Peter Travers of Rolling Stone expertly sums up the most pervasive criticism of The Accountant. Affleck plays a math whiz whose position on the autism spectrum allegedly makes him a perfect assassin. That notion is offensive on so many levels, especially in the service of such low-grade crime fiction, that it's painful to watch. Outside of this glaring critique, some critics were dissatisfied with The Accountant's unfulfilled plotlines and predictable twists. On the other hand, some critics such as Peter Bradshaw of The Guardian were excited by the prospect of a sequel that could tie up the loose ends of the original film.